Hello and welcome back to the Milltown Way podcast, the independent Shamrock Rovers podcast, covering all things the hoops. I'm Ryan Brendan, joined here as always by Adam Casey. Bit more of a downbeat
Yeah,
episode maybe after the week that did unfold. This episode we will be looking at Ireland underage involvement from Rovers players. The women's team result, they beat Sligo Rovers 5-0. And a brief look at the break that Rovers have had, and also the upcoming fixture away to Waterford next Friday, which we'll be previewing later on in the episode. We'll start international duty. It's hard to think of international duty and not think of the disappointment that was the
uh,
senior team, and also, well, we won't be talking about it because there was no Rovers involved in it.
but still
Just
disappointing evening all the same.
still lingering that feeling.
Yeah, it still hurts.
It does. Everybody hurts.
Yeah, it's the manner. It's the manner they lost rather than the fact they lost.
Yeah, it's one of them that, well, our underage teams, without being overly critical, haven't shown much this week. Just in the sense
Yeah,
of, just as in results wise, they'll be disappointed with it. So it's quite this week. It's just been a little bit of a negative one for a Rovers Ireland, or more so as in for an Ireland fan,
yeah,
not Rovers. The under 21s played on Thursday. For those maybe who weren't at the stadium for the senior team and in Prague, might have been the warm up for most people
yeah.
watching the 21s in Tala, and whether they were there or watching it on the telly. They drew 1-0 with Moldova in Tala Stadium. Michael Noonan played the full 90 minutes. Corey O'Sullivan was an unused sub. Adam Brennan withdrew from the squad ahead of that game, ahead of time. What looks like an injury, so hopefully he'll be fit for the fixture on Friday against Waterford. And he'll be out as also for the under 21s game that takes place on Tuesday away to Kazakhstan. But international minutes for young Michael Noonan, 17, playing for the 21s.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's good fair play. Like it's good to have for him to get these minutes with the under 21s, let alone considering he could be with the under 19s and
I think,
it's just the senior team next.
yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, well, uh, don't even talk to me about the senior team. I can't do it. But no, yeah, exactly that. He could be playing for 19s. I think particularly when he played the FIFA Under 17 World Cup
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Qatar there not too
exactly.
long ago. So I think primarily due to his impressive performances,
Yeah, that's probably why.
I think that's what's warranted him getting called for the 21s, and to play a full 90 minutes. Sure, you can't argue with it, can you? From a
No, playing a full 90s definitely. It's a great achievement for him,
yeah,
and it's good for the club as well to have a player representing them on an international level.
yeah, exactly that. Like particularly as well when you think of it, look, the lingering thought of any Rover supporter when it comes to Michael Noonan is that this summer he will depart when he turns 18. He'll be eligible to head to the UK, whether that be for a team in England or a team in Scotland or anywhere in between. Obviously, the when it came around with the interest from Hoffenheim, the bid they put in, the club accepted it. Noonan more so, and his family rejected it. The other club that was sniffing around was Celtic. Um, which we've seen the similar route with Johnny Kenny being there, who's now currently on loan at Bolton. It's not really a trajectory you want to see Michael Noonan go down from a personal standpoint. I don't think
No,
that would be the right move.
no, it's not what you want to see. You don't want Michael Noonan going to a team that's not going to play him, for example, or a team that he
Quickly
sends it,
turn on the Irish players as well.
especially at Celtic.
Yeah, which is strange. Like, uh, I've constantly seen on social media the likes of Liam Scales, Johnny Kenny when he was there. Like always come in for a bit of criticism, a bit of stick.
Yeah, Liam Scales
Alameda,
gets a lot. He gets dogs abuse. Like he gets loads of abuse online,
yeah.
which I just don't get. Like,
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like it's a club that say that are Irish essentially, really.
yeah,
So like, to be
club that
turning
they
on,
always talk about for being Irish, but they quick turn on them, aren't they?
but this is a
That's the issues.
um for the Ireland 21s. That draw leaves them third in their group, and they're 8 points off Slovakia with a
Yeah,
game in hand. They do play Kazakhstan away on Tuesday at 3 o'clock.
yeah,
It's also another thing to keep an eye on for any Irish fan that wants to see any Rovers players involved. There'll be, as I said, Michael Noonan probably is expected to play another 90 minutes there. I would lean toward, then of course that will probably see him out of the Waterford fixture maybe, or at least on the bench.
It's on LOI TV as a
The Kazakhstan
yeah
game, not friendly qualifier.
qualifier.
That's well. There you go. There's another avenue to watch it. I presume it would be on an RTE as well. I
Yeah,
thought,
but I
or
no
Virgin Media maybe.
maybe it was on Virgin Media the other day
Yeah, but that's also as well. It's in Talis, so it's easier for the
for broadcasting and
mm,
stuff. I don't know if will they make the trek out to
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan?
Well, I don't think they need. I don't know how it all works, but I don't think they need to make the. I don't think they need to always travel out for. They'll use
No, I
other
suppose.
camp,
Yeah,
all that sort of everything that goes with it. Yeah, I would imagine that'll see Michael Noonan not really play in the fixture with Waterford on Friday on Good Friday.
yeah.
Hopefully it's a great Friday.
If Rovers win,
um, but also when you think of it, he'll be used, I presume, in some capacity, given it's Waterford on Friday and it's Shelbourne on the Monday over
yeah,
Easter. So it's quite a busy schedule yet again for Rovers. Something they're well used to at this point,
yeah, definitely.
even though the league's only going, well, not even 2 months yet.
Yeah, but that on the check there, that
Actually, not
under
even
21,
3 months. I mean,
that under 21s game is not on Virgin Media.
no, okay, it's only
Strange.
LOI TV,
Yeah,
so I can't watch it anymore.
Virgin Media are showing the Czechia Denmark game on Tuesday night
I'm gonna blow my brains out on this podcast.
because RTE obviously showing the international friendly. I don't know,
North
the two worst
Macedonia.
words combined together. International friendly.
What I didn't understand from actually just on that topic of the Ireland senior team and their friendly with North Macedonia on Tuesday, that riveting game that everyone's looking forward to, is they called up a 26-year-old that is coming in. I presume it's in replacement. Is a replacement for either Jack Taylor or Sammy Smodix, who are both expected to miss that friendly. So, like, my obvious thought was just call in someone from the League of Ireland,
Yeah,
put some credit in the bank, and give them a minute.
just give them something.
Like it. Obviously, you wanted to be a Rovers player. It doesn't happen. Just show you're gonna. There's some sort of intent there that League of Ireland
Yeah,
is a thought, is a priority for
yeah.
Heimer Halgrimson and Ireland as a whole. Um, it doesn't really look that way when you see these type of things, and
Nope.
but it's hard to think of anything that's not negative really when it comes to Ireland at the minute. Just with all the
It's hard to not be. It's hard to not be negative at this time with everything going on with the team. Just after that awful. Yeah, it's just a sad time.
yeah,
Don't know if I'll ever get over.
it hurts. The other hoop that was involved, well, not involved, but in the squad, the matchday squad against Moldova for the under-21s was Corey O'Sullivan. He got called up for that game, and he didn't. He was an unused sub. But he'll travel with the squad as well, expectedly for their trip to Kazakhstan. I don't know minutes wise if he does get any minutes on Tuesday, will he feature against Waterford on Friday? I presume not. I don't know. But then again, he's been an integral part of Rovers' backline at the minute. You can't fault him in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Himself, Pico Lopez,
Yeah,
and Lee Grace have been the primary three. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually does get any minutes, because on the back, even if he doesn't play against Kazakhstan, it's that travel, and it's quite
being with the squad and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
quite a bit to travel, and
yeah, it's a long way to go.
yeah,
Kazakhstan's not exactly local. Like,
no, but so like that, I think it'd be interesting if he does play against Waterford on Friday, even with it as a with or without any minutes on Tuesday in Kazakhstan. The fact that it's away might influence Stephen Bradley's judgment and decision making. As I said,
most likely.
it'll be interesting to see, because of course Dan Cleary was injured, it seems, up until the break.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's missed out for quite a bit. So if he continues to miss out for Waterford on Friday, it means, well, Corey might have to play even after that travel. Now, look, not to say it'll be unfair on him. Maybe
no.
you would expect that the team will return on Wednesday. The game's on Friday. It's also away to
Yeah,
Waterford. It'll be a little bit of a workload for Corey, but I suppose at such a young age, at this level, this is what you're gonna maybe have to come to deal with as well.
yeah.
Um, So yeah, that might be an interesting call for him to see what happens. As well, maybe Stephen Bradley might have a bit of contact here to say,
Yeah,
if
maybe.
you're not going to give him any minutes, maybe just leave him at home.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it would be quite frustrating to travel all the way to Kazakhstan to not touch the pitch.
Yeah, like I now look, a lot of the players won't. As in
No, they can't play everyone.
exactly. It's not under
It's
11s
not roll
football.
on, roll off.
Yeah. Um, exactly that. So like that point will be interesting to see. Should Corey make that trip to Kazakhstan? Adam Brennan, as we said, withdrew, so he won't be travelling to Kazakhstan for that fixture. He'll stay in Dublin, and hopefully he'll be fit in time for this double header over the Easter break of Waterford and Shelbourne. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a crucial period, and look, of course, it's one that still does sting.
Yeah.
It's stinging us, as you can maybe tell by
Our
the
tone.
tone.
Yeah. The downbeat manner of this episode. It's not the most lively episode. But
No, it's not. But yeah, it's just yeah.
frustrating.
Look, it is frustrating, and that's just such is the way. It's football.
Yeah, it
You have to
happens.
dust yourself off. You have to pick yourself up.
We're not the first country this has happened to.
No,
We're not the
no,
first time this has happened to this country.
no, it's not.
Heartbreak's part of it.
Yeah. But over to, I suppose, the women's team. They have played. There was no international break for themselves. Yeah, they took
It's
on.
coming up soon, actually. Though.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
they're
after
announcing
this.
yeah,
After
they're
this
announcing
weekend.
the squad
Yeah.
this week.
But for Rovers women, they went to the showgrounds to take on Sligo Rovers. They won 5-0, a resounding victory. And here's an audio piece from Christine Allen, who will be regularly contributing to the Milltown Way, with her update on Shamrock Rovers' comprehensive victory over Sligo Rovers.
Hi lads, well, I'm delighted to report that the Rovers women have picked up their second win of the 2026 league campaign, beating Gavin Hughes' Sligo Rovers 5-0 away at the showgrounds. Now, on first listen, you may think 5-0, we must have absolutely ran riot. And we did in the second half. But Sligo Rovers really put it up to us, and it just shows how competitive this league is becoming. Now, Shamrock Rovers made 3 changes from the side that was beaten 2-0 by Peamount United last weekend, with Della Cowper-Gray, Caitlin St. Ledger and Mia Dodd coming into the starting 11. Roisin McGovern, she was suspended, of course, following her red card on Saturday, and manager James O'Callaghan opted as part of the mix-up to play Sive Doyle and Emily Corbett on the bench. Now, from the outset, Sligo Rovers pressed the hoops with confidence, purpose, belief. They forced Rovers wide. They closed us down. They really went for it with disciplined intensity. Now, 2 of Sligo's American signings made an early impact. Connecticut native Cara Jordan, she posed a constant threat down that left, while midfielder Sydney Stevens stopped the light. She was like a conductor orchestrating play in the midfield. Leah Kelly, also such a solid player for Sligo Rovers, did well in defence, along with McQuillan. Now up front, Paula McGrory for the Bit O' Red worked tirelessly to disrupt Rovers' attempts to settle, and it did start to worry as a Hoops fan, but we found our rhythm. You saw our quality. We kept the ball on the deck. We strung the passes together, and the breakthrough came in the 6th minute when Della Cowper-Gray's searing pace stretched Sligo's right flank. She linked up a beautiful pass into the centre where Katie O'Reilly was there, who just looked to her left to see Ella Kelly, and then that was one of those trademark in-swinging crosses from Ella Kelly into the box, led to a kind of a collision between McKiernan and Kelly. Thompson pickpocketed the ball off Abby Rooney, who tried to win it back but fouled Thompson, and the Hoops were awarded a penalty. Now, Ellen Malloy stepped up. You would bet your house on her to score, and she did. Drilled it home and gave Rovers the early lead. Now, we were clearly buoyed by the opener. We began to assert control. Jamie Thompson, the composure, that vision in midfield. She loves to play those balls at a real acute angle, really sharp pieces of play. We started to look very good, but Sligo, to their credit, they remained very dangerous, and this is where our resilience had to show. Rooney delivered a brilliant long ball to McGrory at one point, but the striker was adjudicated offside. I think that was a bit of a let-off for us. The Rovers' attacks, though, continued in waves, although the final pass was frequently thwarted by Jordan when she tracked back, or McQuillan standing firm. Trace Kenevi was a pillar at the back for us. She threw herself at every incoming ball. while Budden remained alert to any danger, needed to punch clear at one point. The Rovers came close to getting a second in the 29th minute. Again, that creativity from Della Cowper-Gray, a really inventive pass to O'Reilly, who just stealthily came up, snuck in from the left, but McKiernan, fantastic goalkeeper, came out, cleared it decisively, cleanly, no foul, no penalty. But just before the interval then, Rovers doubled their advantage, and that must have been a real sucker punch to Sligo Rovers when Malloy threaded a precise pass through two defenders, and O'Reilly then coming in at a really awkward angle, but she twisted past the challenge before rifling a shot into the top left-hand corner. What a decisive finish. It was a finish of authority that sent Shamrock Rovers 2-0 ahead at the half-time break. Now, the second half saw a reinvigorated Sligo Rovers emerged. You wouldn't think that they were in a 2-goal deficit. Manager Gavin Hughes appeared to have sparked a renewed sense of that attacking belief that they started the game with, and Sydney Stevens tested Budden with an absolute rocket in the 52nd minute. The execution was flawless as she just drove her boot through the ball, but the Shamrock Rovers keeper made a gravity-defying stop. What a save by Amanda Budden to keep the game at 2-0 to Shamrock Rovers. Now, our third goal arrived in the 64th minute following a foul on Malloy. Lauren O'Callaghan, she loves to just drift those balls into the box. She did it against Beaumont. This drifting kind of just weighted pass into the box, floated it in, and Dodd reacted brilliantly. Bonnie McKiernan came out. It was like the defence didn't really know what was happening, and fair play to Dodd. She just got her boot in there, and that was 3-0 to Shamrock Rovers. Now, there were a number of changes in the second half, and for Sligo Rovers, Emma Hansbury was handed the captain's armband when she came on in the 65th minute. She played a crucial part in a next sequence of events when Alice Bugle, a rising talent from the under-17s and under-19 Shamrock Rovers Academy, made her senior debut in the 67th minute, replacing Della Cowper-Gray. She immediately showcased her skill, her strength. She twisted past Ava Hallinan before being denied by a crucial block from Hansbury after she let fly on goal towards McKiernan. But in the 77th minute, Bugle was to find the net to make it 4-0 to Shamrock Rovers. It was a really slick move that involved Katie O'Reilly, Ella Kelly, Jamie Thompson, and O'Reilly then, how she does so well, just weaves in towards the box from the left, crossed it in then. There was a glancing header from Emily Corbett, did really well to just flick that ball on to Bugle, who composed herself and slotted it home. 4-0 to the hoops. Bugle wasn't finished, and in the 87th minute, she made a 5. There was just a deft pass with the outside of her boot from Sive Doyle. She makes those plays so well. That final ball that makes all the difference. It was just exquisite. She found Bugle once again, who took one touch to control it, and another. She didn't lift it, but just the way she played it, it went over Bonnie McKiernan. Such a good strike. Made it look effortless. And that was 5-0 to the hoops. There were substitutes then in the dying embers of the game when Taylor White came on, and Mia Gaff also made her debut senior appearance. And that rounded off a dominant performance for Rovers against a really good Sligo Rovers side. Shamrock Rovers now turn their attention to the All-Ireland Cup clash against Linfield, who they beat 3-0 in pre-season at Tallaght. That bodes well. That first game is on April 4th, and they will then resume league action against Waterford on April 19th.
That was Christine Allen, and thank you for that update, and hopefully more positive results to follow. But I suppose back on to the men's side, and club football returns now this weekend. Well, this weekend.
The short international break will be over, and back
Thank God.
I think what everyone would rather watch.
Thank God.
Club football and the return of everyone's favourite, Shamrock Rovers.
Everybody hates them.
Not a big fan of that chant.
The chant police is here. Do not fear.
That's my job.
Yeah, but now, I suppose, as we said, heading into, as we said in the last episode, I suppose, primarily, Rovers, bad, good position. I'm not overly, but I'm content with where Rovers are at the minute.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much cause for concern.
No, we kind of mentioned that in the last episode before the break, that while they're not top of the table, they're still in and around there, and considering Rovers have a bit of a reputation in the last few years to start a season slow, and to pick up, they could definitely be, if this is starting slow and it's going to ramp up. Can't really argue with that.
No, you can't. That's a good point. Heading into break, 3 clean sheets on the bounce, as I said, if there's better to come,
Yeah.
I don't think there's too much concern. I suppose points that we tend to touch on, and it seems to be the common theme amongst the supporters at Rovers is, I suppose, primarily is going forward, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The goal threat.
Yeah.
You have John McGovern struggling a little bit for form. I think he's
Yeah.
not influencing the game as much as he'd like. Therefore, you're kind of having to call on the older gun of Aaron Green.
Well,
he's still got it.
He's definitely not firing blanks.
He's aging like a fine wine.
Yeah, he really is. But no, they do need this slightly more youthful presences up top.
I think so. I'm more like more.
It's not sustainable, I
influential
think, for players that old either.
Yeah, and as well as that, like it's waiting for that inevitable window to come, isn't it? Really, when Europe comes around, the cup comes around. That like at the minute, on one breath, you can say at the minute, it's just league football week to week. But Rovers haven't had week to week in a while. It's been Friday, Monday.
No, it's been a lot of Friday, Mondays recently.
Yeah. So when you consider it that way, it's a little bit more tricky. But
yeah,
when it does come to the fact that Rovers will be playing, they'll start off in the Champions League qualifiers on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Then they'll play the weekend, probably likely a Sunday fixture.
Mm-hmm.
Not the very start, because the first two games of them qualifiers they get moved forward.
Oh yeah.
So they'll go week to week for the first two European games. Yeah. After that, then it goes midweek to weekend.
Yeah.
And obviously it'll hinge on what competition Rovers are in.
Yeah, will that be during the World Cup then? The starts.
I
don't remember last year because I was on international duty. It wasn't here.
Well, there was no World Cup last year either. No. Or Euros.
That's why.
Because you were away.
Yeah, they knew not to do it.
But yeah, so obviously, look, we're waiting for that inevitable workload to come, aren't we? Really, where it's gonna be a lot of football. So like the Champions League first qualifying round, the first leg is the 7th and 8th of July. Second leg 14th and 15th of July. Yeah. Rovers will be in the Champions. That's the two dates for their Champions League first round qualifiers. Obviously, it hinges on will they make it past that.
Yeah.
I'm expecting big things, big ears.
Yeah. I think we all would like a nice European run this year.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much it's influenced it, but first of all, you've no Pico Lopez.
Yeah, no, that's going to be tough.
Because
obviously he'll be at the World Cup for a minimum of a few weeks, let alone then
give him a bit of a
rest after coming back. And I don't want to sound bad, but you kind of want him to go out in the group.
I'd love to see him go far on a personal level, but then there's the other
on a selfish level,
on a professional level.
You want them back as soon as possible.
As I said last week, it's like an episode of The Chase. Just take the low offer and get you back.
Get you back for the rest of the team
to face the chaser.
Yeah, who's the chaser?
Well, it won't be Shelburne.
Oh,
well, I don't think it'll be Derry City, to be honest. Rovers could be the one chasing, and then
could be Bohus.
Don't say that name here.
They probably have a chase kick coming out soon.
With the chaser on it.
With the beast or whatever his name is.
Yeah. But I suppose we'll look ahead to the game that is on the way.
Yeah.
That is Waterford away at the RSC Stadium next Friday, Good Friday. 7:45 kickoff on the road. Thoughts on return to club action?
It's good for it to be back. Yeah, international breaks are usually a bit boring. This one wasn't. It's just miserable.
Which would you rather?
I think I'd rather the misery.
Maybe I like the misery.
I don't think there's anything worse than like just truly not feeling anything. Like with most international breaks, you're just like, yeah.
Here we go. It's a box ticking exercise.
Yeah, like here 2 matches, 1 at home. We get to go into town for a few hours, watch the match. But this one there was a bit of hope, and
it's gone.
Is it worth? Even though you knew how it ended, was it still worth
the journey?
Was it worth having? even though it didn't work out. But if it didn't, you still you still look back at when Troy Parrott got that goal against Hungary. You'll never forget that. It just would have been a lot more special if he had it qualified.
Yeah, no, fair point. For Rovers, I suppose, like when you look back, it's all about getting momentum again now and going through these gears and keeping players fit and managing workloads, as Rovers are well versed in any ways. When you look at these first like 5 fixtures after this now, like the next 5, you've Waterford away, Shelburne at home, Pats away, Bows at home, Derry away, and then it's Waterford again.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's very tough.
Yeah, it's tough running games. 3 Dublin derbies in there.
Treat them, and then a trip to Derry City where they'll be playing in their gas stadium, Celtic
Yeah,
Park.
yeah, and just that you'll be expecting Derry City to be in and up and around chasing the title like they aim to most years.
They aim to be second every year.
Same with
God
Pats
bless
and
them.
realistically probably Bows and Shells. They probably all have notions that they could win this title.
Well,
So
when you think back of the last time Roberts went to Richmond Park to take on Pats, wasn't too pleasant. Thought it could have been another. We won the league in Inchicore.
I just remember, I'll never forget that first goal. Who was it?
Simon Power.
Yeah,
Yeah, one
cracker.
and only goal of the game. It was
Yeah,
1-0 defeat.
cracker.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. It was one of them, especially where we were sat. You could just see
where we
it
stood.
yeah, where
Uh-huh.
you just see it travel the
Where were
whole
we
way.
stood at him?
You could just see it travel straight into the top corner. But yeah, well, first off, with Waterford winless so far this season.
Yeah.
2 draws, 6 losses, 6 goals scored and 19 conceded. It's not a great start for them. Including their draws came in their first and their third match. They've now lost 5 on the bounce, which we've talked about Rovers struggling going forward. They shouldn't not be struggling going forward against Waterford. That's been Waterford's downfall. They're still scoring some goals. Like they lost 4-3 to Galway, for example. They did lose 5-0 to Dundalk, which it's just the conceding of goals. I feel like if Rovers is defending is still struggling against Waterford, you'll be a bit worried.
Yeah, well, and Waterford is the club that, of course, Rovers loanee Keane Barrett is.
Yeah.
He'll obviously won't be allowed to play against Rovers. But he's featured in 5 games so far, and he started 4 of them. And Stephen Bradley even spoke about that at after the last game, looking ahead to this one, of that he's watched a lot of Waterford because of Keane Barrett, and obviously having a player there, you kind of keeping tabs and everything that comes with it. But yeah, they've not structurally gone too well, as you've touched on there already. Scoring goals, yes, but 2 against Derry, and I said 3 against Galway. 5-0 defeat to Dundalk is really poor.
That's bad.
Despite
in Oriel Park as well, which bad enough just having to go there, let alone lose 5-0.
As for Rovers going into that unbeaten in 5, just want to keep that run going. And as we've already said, 3 clean sheets in a row, 4 in the last 5 games in that spell as well.
Yeah.
Which is good defensively. As we've said, it's not. As we've kind of regularly touched on, defensively, it's not the issue. It's just going forward that maybe influences.
It's just been very slow going forward, and hopefully that can change this week. But yeah, if you look at it, like for example, obviously Rovers haven't lost in their last 5, but they haven't scored that many either. Like only 7 goals across the 5 matches isn't a lot for a team that didn't lose in any of them 5 matches. Like they got the 1 against Derry, 2 against Shells, 2 against Sligo, 1 against Drogheda, and then 2 against Galway. So it all depends on. The defence has been solid all year round so far, so it all just depends, I think, now at the moment on what they can get going attacking wise.
Yeah, no, definitely fair points there, and good points to be made. It's times like now that really tell where Rovers are at and what they're capable of. A squad that's in transition essentially, and while they're in transition, sitting third after 8 games can't have too many complaints about. and still managing. No, it got bar going forward. I don't think many Rovers fans will have little to none complaints maybe.
No.
Um, but I suppose it's important now that Rovers get, like I said, it's a serious run of tough games. It's not,
Yeah.
you can't, you definitely, if you can't sleepwalk through these fixtures that are coming up. So, and if you go to do that, you're going to get punished.
Yeah, you'll be punished. You'll suffer if you try. If you try to just walk through, especially even against Waterford, if you just try and walk through and go in expecting a win rather than wanting one, they could definitely be punished.
Yeah, and Waterford, you spoke about it last week on that pitch.
Oh yeah,
the running track between the
so
fans.
far from the fans are so far from the pitch. Somehow I think Rovers fans still nearly end up on the pitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good bit away, and that, like we've talked here before about Shells and Pats and Bows, for example, being so close to the pitch. Particularly Shells, Salga Park are like on the sideline.
They're nearly taking a throw in for you.
Yeah, even Drogheda are quite close as well. But
Drogheda, you're close to the pitch, but you can't see the corner flags if you're in the away end, which is infuriating.
Yeah, and then there's like big pillars in the way as well. And like
they have that as well.
Like
I look, you can see in there in the home end on the opposite side of the away end that it's the exact same situation. Yeah. I don't get any of that. Like,
surely you could just build it a bit better. Like,
yeah,
visibility is like the key thing in a football stand.
Yeah, like pillars maybe, you can get away.
Yeah.
Otherwise the roof's coming down. But
you're not watching it then either.
But otherwise, like with the corner flags, I think that should be a bare minimum, really.
Yeah. Well, they got their new LED scoreboard.
Oh, the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
That had lyrics to draw the songs.
Oh, come on, that was awful. I don't know.
Don't worry.
Did we actually talk about that on this?
Well, we recorded that episode after. No, I don't think we did because we recorded that one on the road.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Here's a little song we wrote.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing it no for no.
Don't.
They had to draw the player names in them and all.
Yeah, but all the names were there twice, like directly beside each other.
Yeah.
But no, Waterford, yeah. The running track. I don't like stadiums with running tracks. Back on the stadium for a second. I don't like when they're that far apart. But yeah, Rovers overall, last time they played Waterford there, it was a 2-1 win.
They tend to do well. It's not too often that Rovers go there and it's a negative result at the RSC Stadium in general.
No, not particularly, no. The last time Waterford bet Rovers was 2018.
Rovers are on an incredible run.
Against them?
Yeah, at the RSC.
But no, the last time they bet Rovers was 2018. Graham Burke did score for Rovers that day. He doesn't age.
Rovers have a 10-game winning streak at the RSC Stadium. Yeah. Graham Burke, that's where you tend to hear that is about his dad getting shot in the leg.
Yeah, that was the first time we heard it.
And then Rovers don't go to the RSC again until June. It is one of these games that is going to be like, look, it's the 9th league game of the season. It's not anything to be getting too far ahead, but it's just one of these that are going to, I think it will give good insight into where Rovers are at and how they can deal with now having that break. Because, these type of breaks can go for or against you,
Yeah.
It's a break can go well when, it's used for a period of recovery of, particularly for Rovers as Friday, Monday's been so frequent.
Yeah.
So Rovers need to take advantage of that, but not lose that kind of rhythm. And obviously they're without Michael Noonan and Corey O'Sullivan, who are, integral parts of the squad as well. But it's just that, it's like that. And without Pico Lopez as well in training. But they're still continuing on with, obviously, I presume, with the majority of the group. But anyways, and it's one of them that you just, obviously, as I said, there is tweaks that need to be made. There's some improvements that are there that we can see, that we touch on. But like that, it's just more so Rovers need to take this with two hands now and to use the recovery, but go into that game ready on Friday. And as I said, busy spell again, 3 games in a week between Waterford and the following Friday. Waterford away, Shelbourne at home, Pats away. 2 Dublin derbies in the opening in the first 3 games, first week back really of the club football. yeah, it's integral to see. Just you don't want. Look, these early parts of the season, as I said, maybe it's Bows that are getting carried away. In the sense of
They never do that, do they?
it doesn't. That's out of character.
Oh,
But at the same time, you don't want to give them reason to be getting carried away either. If Rovers were to drop points, for
yeah.
example, then Bows win.
You don't want to add more fuel to their fire.
Yeah, and like on Friday, Bows go to Drogheda to play, and Pat's host Sligo. So definitely for them, two winnable fixtures. And
Yeah.
it's times like now that, as I said, look, all points count the same no matter what stage. As you said before,
Yeah.
that old chestnut. But like that, as I said, you just don't want to give these sides ammunition because, look at when Shelbourne won the league.
Yeah, true.
You look back on
You look
games
back
and
at the
think,
start because Rovers were chasing them then, and they were winning to a lot towards the end.
yeah, found their form towards the end. It was just literally just about too little, too late.
Yeah,
just about.
So
One more game, I think Rovers win that.
One win that could have been in the 6th or 7th week, like this is, and they might have been champions.
Are you saying 6 or 7 wins for the younger audience?
Trying to get the young audience in. We're actually unks on this podcast.
But no, I'm looking forward to seeing Rovers again. Though, I have to say,
as miserable as we are, once Tuesday's over and you get back into the swing of it, you'll be a bit like
bit more of a pep in your step.
Yeah, especially if Rovers win.
Yeah,
if they lose, I'm retiring from football. I'm retiring from watching football.
But yeah, also on that note with Waterford, like it's not too far of an away day either.
No,
over an hour and a half, say, to get there, and we might be having an episode on the road after that game as well between Waterford and Shelbourne.
It's a 7:45 kickoff as well.
Yeah, 7:45 kickoff is slightly earlier.
Well, that's just the 8 o'clock game. Is the televised one.
Yeah, but
Galway,
yeah.
That's the televised one.
Galway there, is that what you said?
Yeah, in Galway.
Well, last time Galway were at home on the telly.
That absolute
7-goal
cracker.
thriller.
Yeah, against Waterford.
Yeah, well, that's it. So they might produce the same. And
I don't want a 7-goal thriller.
No, not for us.
Not for us.
Well, if we came out on the right side of it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter then, does it?
And once we got all 7. But no, yeah. Look, I suppose we started this podcast and I was still feeling downbeat over that Czechia game. Still am on that note, but however, now that I'm more and more talking about Shamrock Rovers returning to action on Friday, I'm getting more and more excited for that as well.
A bit more, as you said, a pep in your step.
Exactly, yeah. And another away day, you can't beat. And I'm off for work on that day as well, so yeah, good Friday.
Oh
yeah, a great Friday.
Hopefully. Some might even say a brilliant Friday. Yeah, no, Waterford as well. It's a handy one to get to as well.
Not if you want to do public transport.
Oh, don't do.
What is with these? Like,
you really think they'd run trains and stuff? Like, they really don't.
They don't think about fans.
No.
Like, and like the point we're getting at here is
that's not even just for this. They don't think about fans when it's even like
an
Ireland match, a Dublin game, or
or like sport.
Even if there's a big concert on in Dublin. Like, I remember when I went to see Coldplay in Croke Park. I went on the Sunday, so all the buses and like stuff stopped early.
Yeah.
So like the last bus out of town to Tala on a Sunday was like 10 to 11. So like by the time you get out of Croke Park at like 10:30, get into town, I'm like, so there's no buses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do now? And I'm like, oh, the Lewis still runs late. Go to check the Lewis. There's one. The last one is like, it says a minute. See it go by. I had to sprint for
bit like Colt Sievers. But no, on that note is what we're getting at, I suppose, is obviously public transport. There's trains down to and from Waterford, of course. There's other routes as well. Buses.
What time
public
was the
buses.
last train back?
Last train back is just about 8:30.
So you can get the first half.
Just about.
Maybe the first 20.
Then by the time, but it's just like it's ridiculous.
It makes no sense.
Like I know, obviously there's supporter buses that make these trips down as well, but like if you want to do, if for example you want to do your own kind of thing or whatever it is, if you want whatever choice people make that they want to do public transport, you can't. The last train back from Waterford to Dublin, as I said, 8:30. Bus wise, it's a little bit late. I think it's like maybe. No, it's actually around the same time of 8:30 or 9 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
And then, or there's one bus at 1 a.m.
Nice.
It's quite a stark contrast
Yeah.
there.
Thing is with the Waterford Stadium as well, well, not that I'm feeling Waterford often, but it's not really in the centre of the city, really, is it?
Driving wise, it is, but sure, as I said, if you're doing public transport, it's a bit of a walk. Like it's
Yeah.
not too far now. I don't like you would walk it if you were gonna, if that's the route you chose and if it suited your
True.
plans. But
I suppose, yeah. There's a Supermax beside.
it is super. But I suppose we'll leave it there at the Waterford talk as well.
Yeah.
As I said, we're looking forward to it. We'll yeah, look, just looking forward to Rovers, seeing Rovers again.
You just can't.
I can't be this miserable all the time. I don't like it. All the time.
You don't like being a pessimist.
Exactly.
You're not a glass half empty kind of guy.
But the dimensions we've also had in previous episodes, and of course we'll continue to mention them. Sunday, it's 2 weeks, or Sunday week from when you listen to this, the 12th of April, the fun run is taking place. Obviously was initially scheduled to take place on 29th of March. It's taking place on Sunday the 12th of March, 11:30, Corker Park. That was organised by the Dublin 22 Supporters Club, so do enter that as well and take part. They're taking entries, €20 entries to Oscar's Kids, which also is, of course,
close to the club
for Stephen Bradley and Glenn Crone particularly, and any supporter of the club who, of course, knows the journey that the pair of them have been on, and means a lot to them. So, and they will also be taking part in that run. Stephen Bradley, Glenn Crone, and Ronan Finn is expected to, I think, and Sean Kavanagh. So do make sure you check that out, and you can find that on their social media pages as well. Via Instagram or Facebook primarily is their mainstream avenue. The other mention is, of course, as well, the club lotto that takes place on a weekly basis. All the money raised for that goes towards the club and, of course, the academy, the infrastructure of the club. Of course, they're building that new pitch that will fit 77 on the Astro. These type of things, they go along. You're not just entering a lotto.
No, not seeing the
rewards of it.
You're investing right back into the club, like.
Exactly. So it goes, and you
have a chance to win money. It's not like you're just giving. It's not like it's a charity.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the prize fund was €5,000 the last time.
That's not bad.
Which
mind $5,000.
So I'll take $5,000 if it's going.
They should be giving us $5,000 for promote.
That's our goal. That's where the winner gets it.
And then obviously as well, just want to talk about the South Stand fancy and hosting their event in the Dropping Well in Rathmines. That's 2 weeks from when you're listening, really, 2 weeks?
Yeah, so it's the Sunday after the fun run, 19th of April.
So, yeah, they're going to be having guest speakers who'll talk all about clubs past in Milltown and Glenmalure Park. And it'll just be a good celebration for Rovers fans to get together and have a few laughs, have a few drinks, hear some stories, and just have a good time, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. And as I've said before, we'll be trying to make it ourselves, hopefully. But that's it from this week's episode of the Milltown Way. Make sure you do listen to this podcast. Well, you already have. You're listening to me saying this now.
Yeah.
Make sure you share it and tell your friends and your family about it. Anyone who supports Rovers or even the slightest bit of connection to Rovers, make sure you do make them aware of it. Make sure you check out our social media platforms as well, across X, Instagram, and Facebook at the Milltown Way, across all platforms. And we're on YouTube as well, which I've forgotten to mention, but we're on YouTube. Podcasts can be streamed from there as well, if that's your choice of podcast streaming. But other than that, thanks again for listening. Rovers are back now from the international duty. Reason not to be so miserable.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we'll chat to you after Waterford.
Thank you.